Welcome to the Melton Truck Line's online training library on load securement. You have chosen the TARP Series Volume 1 on A-frame loads. The object of the instruction is to overview highlights of how to tarp an A-frame load. After you have placed the tarp on the deck of the trailer, you may have to use your ladder to place the tarp on top of the load. Here you will see one of our training classes demonstrating this technique. This is attainable on your own, but just be careful and always use caution when lifting heavy objects. Once you unroll the tarp the length of the load, turn around and crawl back to the front of the load and unfold the tarp so that it is equally distributed and centered on top of the load. Remember, never crawl backwards while you are on top, and always crawl on your product. Once the material is fully draped over the load, make sure you have equal lengths on each side of the load, and that you also have a seam just above the deck of the trailer to set your initial seal. To keep your tarp in place, set a temporary bungee on each side of the tarp. This will ensure that you can keep the tarp stretched and ready for rolling or folding onto the deck of the trailer. The bungee need not be stretched too tightly, but just enough to keep tension in the materials. If you notice, there are different angled D-rings to pull the tarp in different binding directions. Okay, so now that you have each of the ends secured with a temporary bungee, you must begin securing the tarp with a temporary bungee in the middle. You can either roll or fold your material as long as you get enough of the material above the deck of the trailer to form a proper seal. Many drivers use a hand test to assure you cannot fit your hand under the tarp for proper sealing. Roll or fold the side material so you can bring up the rest of the tarp from the ends to begin preparing to strap your tarp in place. Before you bring your front flap over the front of the frame, you must secure the ends together. Notice how this driver uses one bungee to secure through the ends of the D-rings to bring them together. You must do this on each of the set of the seams to provide a good harness. Then your last step is to bring the flap down over the front of the load and tuck and fold the bottom of the flap onto the deck just near the foot of the product.